Guys, the attack and persecution of the Christian faith proceeds, and we see it once again in this debate that I'm going to show you shortly. Just very quickly, a few days ago, a school in Hampshire, Norwood Primary School, cancelled Easter celebrations. And that's crazy because every time I go to the supermarket in the United Kingdom, all around London, everywhere, I'm seeing Ramadan. Everywhere, celebrations, Muslim celebrations. Even King Charles invited Muslims to break their fast in the Windsor Castle, and that demonstrated ultra wokeness and ultra inclusivity at the expense of what the UK was founded upon, which was Christian values. You know, they're erasing the Christianity, they're erasing what made this country great. The West are erasing what made, you know, the West great. And they are introducing and rolling out the red carpet for people that want to destroy them eventually. It's in the religious text, so they're always going to pledge allegiance to that. But everyone seems to be asleep. King Charles was asleep. Why should they be breaking that? Where in this world would you ever see, in Saudi Arabia, they're going to start bringing people in, the royal family, for Easter games, etc.? You're never going to see that. Or they're going to start having Christmas celebrations all over Saudi. Where you're never seeing that. Let's just be honest. You haven't even seen a church, and it's 2025. But for some reason, the West, let's be more specific to the UK, seems to be ultra woke in relation to this. And this is what is giving Muslim people the confidence to walk around and parade around like they own the place, because really they do. This country accommodates Muslims more than it does Christians. People put their heads down in shame now just to be a Christian. I'm seeing young kids in primary school reciting the Shahada. The Shahada, they're reciting it in primary school and they're praying like a Muslim. English kids, Christian kids, you know, they're ashamed of their Christianity, which is a shame. But anyway, guys, we're going to be watching this debate, and this Muslim woman's going to be saying how the UK is not a Christian country and most of the people are atheists, and yeah, she co-signs it basically. Of course she's going to co-sign it because she wants to see the eradication of Christianity. And then she's going to say stuff like, yeah, we love Jesus Christ as well because we say peace be upon him. It's all lies. If you love Jesus Christ so much, then you'd follow what the people who follow Jesus Christ preached and what they opened, which was churches and Christianity. But Muslims persecute Christians all over the world. And we see that even currently in Syria. So there's no love for Jesus Christ there. There's no love.
The wonderful broadcaster extraordinaire, Emma Trimble. And, of course, we are joined by commentator Fahima Mohammed. Thank you very, very much. Emma, I'll start with you, if that's OK. What do you think about this? Is it really inclusive to cancel Easter?
No, of course it isn't. I think it's fundamentally wrong, and the headmistress should be ashamed of herself. To say that you're cancelling Easter out of respect for diversity or out of respect for a diversity of religious faiths is absurd. It's using diversity as an excuse to target and erase the majority culture of this country. And that's not just about those who are practicing Christians. It's the history of this country. People seem to want to pretend that this country has no background, that we didn't arrive at where we are with all of our values of tolerance and so on without a religious background. We are a Christian country to our bones. And whether you're a practicing Christian or a cultural Christian, regardless of whether or not you believe, many people around the country, British people, celebrate Easter. It's part of our calendar. And it's an absolute abomination to use this as an excuse to erase the culture, the religious traditions of this country.
All right, Fahima, I'll bring you in now. Same question to you. Do you think it's really inclusive and diverse to cancel an Easter bonnet parade?
Well, I think we need to consider that the UK is not legally a Christian country, and it is also an uncodified constitution. And we are moving with the times with everything else. So I guess it's the similar way with this state school. It is not a religious school, so it can change its policies however it chooses in order to be fair, because it's not actually cancelling and banning Easter or Christianity. It's just saying that a religious service, a worship, a prayer is not going to be held. There might actually be even other sort of, religious education and studies where schools will show all religious faiths, and that's how they will learn about it. But it doesn't have to be exclusive to one faith, which is diminishing, and it's not about bringing up minority groups to have them exclusive. It's more about the demographic that has changed in the UK, where majority of people are agnostic or atheists, and it doesn't reflect the society that we're living in right now. And that's what they mean about being inclusive, about people who do not believe in anything at all.
Emma, I can see you shaking your head furiously there.
Yeah, well, respectfully, that's historically and factually untrue. We have an established church in this country. We are legally, factually, constitutionally a Christian country. The monarch is the head of the Church of England, whether he acts like it or not. The fact is that even if you say we have an unwritten constitution, I mean, you're comparing us with countries like the United States or America. They have their own distinctive history, whereas we had the common law. We still have the common law. We have a constitutional history in this country that doesn't require some kind of codified written constitution for it to be real. And frankly, the idea that this isn't the targeting of Christianity specifically, I mean, GB News' own Ben Leo had a look on their website. It was very clear that they've been having assemblies on every other religion, including Chinese New Year. So they are obviously very interested in celebrating other cultures, other faiths. It's just Christianity that they have a problem with. And that's something that we have seen in other institutions as well. It's not just this primary school. It's a general trend in this country. And I repeat, it is factually and historically untrue to say that we are not a Christian country. We are.
Fahima, do you think that there is a chance here that Muslim parents just didn't want their children to take part in anything Easter/Christian related?
I don't think so at all. If anything, Muslims do actually respect the revered Jesus Christ. In fact, we don't even just call him Jesus Christ. After that, we say peace and blessings upon Jesus Christ. So it's not about that. This has become commercialized, and most people that are upset is not because they're trying to appease the Muslims. We actually don't mind other faiths or our own. It's just that if it's going to be of one particular faith, which is not the predominant or the majority in today's society, then in fact the UK will have to have all faiths have their worship in there. And I'm one of those Muslims that would like to pray and practice privately. We don't have to do it outside. Even if other people do, I call up my own community.
Just for the sake of clarity, Fahima, I'll stick with you on this. You know, like the Easter bonnet parade and thing, you know, that's not like a religious thing, right? That is, might be called the Easter bonnet parade. It's just like a thing that kids do, where like they put different hats on, they do different things. It's always a bit like an Easter egg kind. It's just quite a nice thing for kids to do, really. And like when I was doing it at school and we did things like that, it was more of just like a nice community thing. So it's not really all about religion. I just wonder if there's been a bit of a misunderstanding here. I mean, the school clearly was worried about causing offence, presumably to people who weren't Christian, Fahima.
Probably they were, because again, it just distinctified that it was actually a service that it cancelled, more importantly, the actual prayer, the worship, which won't include majority of people that are not Christian and, like I said, who are actually atheists. It's not political correctness to actually say that they are actually not having a worship or a prayer.
Okay.
It's just to say that it's just fair for everyone that does not actually believe in the same thing.
Emma, do you want to come back to a few things there then?
Yes, I do. That this is out, like you mentioned, people celebrate, Easter bonnet parades. I have very fond memories of that myself. This isn't just about Christianity. This is our culture in this country. And if we actually want to have a tolerant society, then schools should be teaching minority cultures that they also need to respect Christianity and the traditions of this country.
Well, no one actually said that the minorities are the one complaining. It was an actual person. It's just propaganda to say that. In fact, a lot of Muslims don't have a problem with that. It's not a Muslim thing either. So don't make it that. Don't make it like it is that. It's probably about the atheists who have absolutely no faith, no religion, which is the majority represented in this country.
And they should be tolerant to the culture of this country, which is Christian.
They can be tolerant, but they don't have to have a prayer. It's about
being
teaching in religious education. It's not a religious school. It's an actual state public school for everyone.
This is the thing. You could be tolerant, you could not go, you could not observe it, you could have an alternative thing that runs concurrently with it. Cancelling it for the people who do actually care about it, I find slightly odd. I mean,
it's just one school. Maybe it's just carrying forward with the demographic that is in that area, particularly. Maybe it's not like that everywhere else, and that's how it probably is for that. And that's what I meant, that legally there is not one sort of religion where everyone has to follow, and it's not a uncodified constitution.
I take all your points on board. Absolutely. I think, unfortunately, not for you necessarily, but just unfortunately in general, the school has decided to hide behind the banner of inclusivity and diversity in order to make this decision. Now, they might regret doing that, but they came out and said this is why. Maybe if they'd have been honest and said, actually, we don't have a single Christian at this school, it doesn't make sense for us to do it. I mean, I would still argue maybe they should do something, but they didn't say that.
And people are just assuming the worst, that it's Muslims that are actually against it when it's not. So let's just make that clear.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's assuming it's Muslims. I think it was just more cultural weakness, I suppose. But anyway, thank you very much, both of you. Take care. Have a lovely evening.
Let's be very honest with ourselves. Just a quick outro before I end this segment. The Muslim woman wasn't even tolerant of Emma. She kept on cutting her off at the end, saying, no. There is an atheist majority in this country. This has nothing to do with Muslims. But we do understand and we know that Muslims have something to do with this. They're not happy for their children to be learning anything Easter. They're very clear with what they want. We want everything Muslim. When it's Ramadan, we want our kids fasting. We want them to have a room for praying. We want it our way. Even though it's a Christian country, they still want it their way. You are not going to convince me. You are not going to convince me that Muslims aren't pushing to cancel that Easter event. Of course they were pushing to cancel the Easter event. They don't want to see that. They're not interested in anything Christian. They're just not interested. And they're not tolerant to it. And we know they're not tolerant to it. That's why when I see some Muslims like this woman talk about, no, we're tolerant to all religions. No, you're not, because in Quran 98 verse 6, it says that we're the worst of all creatures. And hence why a lot of Muslim people that, read the text religiously, look at that and they go out persecuting everyone that's not Muslim, because it says that they're the worst of all creatures. So what do you do to the worst of all creatures? You behave violently towards them and persecute them. So yeah, but anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.